Welcome back to my kitchen. This is everything I meal prepped for the week. Wow, it has been a crazy 2 weeks. To say I'm happy to be back in my home and able to cook in my own kitchen would be such an understatement. Along with a lot of the country, Nashville was hit with a pretty historic snow and ice storm. A lot of our city was out of power for over a week. There's actually still a bunch of people that don't have power yet, and we're going on 2 weeks. I also simultaneously caught one of the worst colds I've had in a long time. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm still a little bit congested, but the main thing that I wanted to prioritize this week with food was getting as much nourishment into my body as possible. It's also still frigid cold outside, and there's nothing more comforting than a cozy, nourishing, hearty pot roast. So that is the main meal that I was focusing on cooking today. I made an extra large batch to feed me and my husband, and then also a local family who is still without power, just so they could have a hot meal to enjoy together as a family while they're waiting for their heat and power to come back on. The most important step, in my opinion, for a good flavorful pot roast is making sure you sear the meat first. It just adds such a depth of flavor. I was a little bit short on time, so an Instant Pot is a lifesaver in this situation. You can just pressure cook it for about an hour and it still comes out super tender as if you've cooked it in the oven for hours. On to some juice for the week. Look how vibrant these colors are. I have been craving juice, and this was one of the first things on my list to prep when I got home. I made my wellness shots because they're super good for immunity, and my body needs all the support right now to get back to full health. I also made a batch of my ABC juice, which is just apples, beets, and carrots. There's natural sweetness from the apples and the carrots, and then the beets give it this beautiful red vibrant color, and it's also really good for blood circulation, which is great in the wintertime. Blueberries are my favorite fruit to add to my yogurt bowls, so I always make sure I'm stocked on those. Okay, a little tip for you if you're someone who finds meal prep intimidating, especially the time commitment. Start with ingredient prepping. It can still be incredibly helpful and save you so much time when it's time to actually cook meals. If you're like me, you don't like to eat the same exact thing every single day, so with ingredient prepping, you're not locking yourself into having the exact same meal because it's already cooked and you put all that work in. You can just prep ingredients, and then you have the option to have more variety in your meals, and you're still more prepared for the week. And the last thing I prepped was some brothy mashed potatoes to go with the pot roast, and that was everything that I made for the week.